roles that age plays in the executive world.
Correct.
So ultimately, you have somebody in their 30s, early 30s,
Right.
who's a manager of a huge department of people. Right. These people are ambitious. They're full of energy, full of ideas. They want to rock the boat. Okay. In their early 30s.
They're hungry.
Hungry. Absolutely. And that's a huge beneficial thing to any corporate environment.
I was one of them.
Right. Me too. Well, later on in life, but whatever. I'm, a few years behind the 8 ball.
All good. Age doesn't matter, honestly.
No, but here's the learning curve, though. I've dealt with executives since I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
My role being a locksmith and doing what I do, I've always been in that meeting with VPs and executives because they're the ones making the choice, and I tell them what their options are.
Right.
Okay. So I've grown up essentially in my adult life being accustomed to being in a meeting with executives.
Right.
I'm no stranger to that.
Right, but you have to build yourself up to that point, though.
I didn't at the time. I was thrown into that world and I just adapted to it because I'm good at it.
Right.
I had a natural...
Some people have that.
Right. I have a natural knack for talking to people and getting along and getting executives to laugh in a meeting.
Right.
A lot of people can't do that.
Some people just have that. Not tooting my own horn, but I had...
Right, not to be conceited.
I already had that, and then elevated me to another level. And that's...
Which is amazing. It's amazing that she mentored you
is.
in that way. Getting back to young...
So, what I was going to tell you, though...
in an executive world.
So, let me go back and say, you were saying you don't understand and won't understand until I'm
Not
X
you
years old.
specifically, just people in general at a younger age.
Which, like I said, hindsight's 20/20. But my thing is I've been on the opposite side of that, to where I'm the young guy, and I could come up with an idea that is, A1. It helps with a budget, let's say, because I did that.
Yeah, and it saves the company thousands of dollars
Right,
throughout
which
the year.
every penny you save, you're a god in the casino world. From an executive standpoint, I promise you. If you can save the company, which this doesn't sound like a lot, but if you can save the company $5,000 a month.
Oh, it's huge.
That is literally
that affects
pennies.
their bottom line.
That's literally pennies. It's a drop in the bucket. But
wait, hold on. They just made more than that right now.
Just now.
Just
and
now.
again.
Wait, right
and
now.
Again. And again.
Just
Yeah.
now.
But when
really did.
When it comes down to it, though,
dude, you should see the numbers they just did the last weekend.
I don't doubt it. But when it comes down to it, it's all about that bottom line. It doesn't matter how you got there. It's all about, at the end of the day, how much money we make.
Right.
So,
okay, so getting back to where
Correct.
I had no issue dealing with executives, because in my 20s, being in the position I was, dealing with the world that I'm in, who makes the decision for your access controls, your key system, the people in charge of who has access to your building and your files and everything else?
high security shit.
Right, high security. Everything I was high security certified, actually. I took classes. I got certifications.
I didn't even know that existed, but when you're
Right.
talking about millions of dollars,
right, they have to be
millions
locked
upon
down.
millions.
Think about a college with their admission records and how those have to be locked down because of personnel. Okay, that's important. Who makes the decision on who has access to that room? That comes from the very top.
Yeah.
So when I talk about having meetings at a young age, those are the kind of meetings I was in, of going, okay, they could see immediately, I could identify who should have access, who shouldn't. And it wasn't a personal thing. It was just about their level within the company and their relevance to the company, and going, okay, this person's not relevant, this person is. Sorry, it's not personal. It's just...
Let me ask you something.
Your role doesn't require you having access to that room.
Have you ever fucked up in one of those meetings and said the wrong thing or done the wrong thing?
I have.
Or
Absolutely.
gone out of order?
I'd
What happened?
have to take a minute to think about it, but I know I have over the years. Or I step out of line and say, well, what about this or this? And then they say, no, we're not going to go with that idea. We really don't like that direction.
Or just the fact that you went, you have a director and a VP, and you look at the director and ask them, or you look at the VP and ask them, that's probably worse, actually. Hey, A, B, and C. And they're like, later on, somebody comes up and goes, hey, bro, you skipped the director.
I'm sure that happened in the past at some point.
Well, and when it comes to the intricacies of that environment, unless, like, there's situational things that would allow you to bypass certain steps in the ladder. But for the most part, you want to go through the COC.
Okay, so you had a mentor. You had somebody showing you the ropes. I didn't have that. The only thing I had is growing through this, working for other companies, being a vendor.
What I'm getting
dealing
at,
with the executives.
What I'm getting at, though, and that's what the reason I asked you, have you ever fucked up in a meeting, is because if you haven't had a mentor, then you've had experience. Because you don't just, we were talking about it earlier. You can be good at dealing with the corporate ladder and knowing how to navigate. You can kind of have that niche where you know somewhat how it works, but you're always going to need either experience or a mentor or both.
And both is preferable. Yes.
Both is preferable.
Now I've had both the last couple of years. Yes. Yeah. But until that point, it was all experience. And yeah, there were times in the meeting I'd crack a joke and the executives would look at me and go, that's not really funny.
This isn't the time and
that's in my 20s. And I'm like, I thought it was funny. But that's where the rubber meets the road in the sense of maturity and age play a factor in an executive meeting.
But once you make that mistake once, once you make that mistake once and you see the reaction you get, it puts you in a different it puts you in your feels.
That's the key right there. That's what separates people who progress and people that don't.
People that acknowledge that?
People acknowledge it and learn from it and change the way they handle it and conduct themselves differently next time in the meetings.
Right.
People that don't change that, they are not going to be qualified eventually to become that executive.
Right, but
because they're going to be ushered out and going, you don't know how to handle yourself. You don't know how to conduct yourself. You're making inappropriate comments or jokes or whatever. That's not what we're about in this particular situation. There's a time and place for that. You don't understand the difference between time and place.
Right.
Therefore, you will not be successful in this environment.
You're going to hit a ceiling.
Yeah. You're going to cap yourself out.
Yeah.
The people that do learn from that and recognize it
are the ones that keep progressing.
You absolutely, you mold yourself. You adapt to the environment and go, okay, I learned from that. I kick myself for it, but I'm not going to hold myself down. I'm just going to grow and learn and go what not to do.
Right.
And then in the future, that maturity pays off.
But then there's some people that get to that point. They get to a point in that corporate ladder to where,
your fucking dog stinks.
Yeah, sorry.
You fucking farted again.
Yeah.
Fucking dog.
Get out of here. There's some people that get to a certain point in that corporate ladder and their ego takes over and they become that person that wouldn't have made it to that point if they acted that way lower on the ladder, if that makes sense.
Right.
Like there becomes a point where you can do that and get away with it.
Right. Okay, so this is the difference, right? At a young age, in your late 20s, early 30s, and you're thrown into these executive meetings, they're already looking at you, people in their 50s and 60s, they're already looking at you like, they're immature. They might say something off color, or they might bring up an idea that's not really relevant. They already know that about you going into the meeting.
Yeah, but if
they're accounting for it ahead of time.
I 100%
because
agree.
They've been there.
I 100% agree.
They've been that person in their early 30s who did that in a meeting.
But if you're the executive on the executive side of that, and you've gone to multiple meetings with this same person and they haven't done that, eventually you have to give them respect. They're just cut from a different cloth. These people broke the mold or the stereotype of, let's say, being a millennial, because I fucking hate the term millennial. Because I don't, term. It's so far from what I'm really about that it bothers me to my core, dude.
I love that you're a millennial.
I don't. Because
So for the record, people listening, I'm 41.
The stereotype of a millennial is not who I am.
And how old are you, Tim?
I'll be 32 in August.
Right. And I'm 41. Grant.
That's totally fine.
Grant, by the way.
Yeah. Well, hey, there's a reason why the majority of my friends have at least 5 years on me.
Okay, so I was the same way when I was younger. I had an old soul. I resonated to people older than me.
Exactly, dude.
Absolutely.
I don't know.
You know what's funny is that's one thing that's changed about my age too now. We'll get back to the executive thing in a minute. At my age now, I almost resonate with people who are like mid to early 30s more so than I do with people who are like 45, 47, 50.
Well, because by then you have it. That's where you really think you have it figured out.
No, it's weird. It's weird because the people at 50 years old are so close to retirement, I can't identify with them anymore.
Valid point.
And I now resonate more with people in their mid to early 30s who are still ambitious, that have careers. Maybe it's because my situation and now I had to start over again at my age.
Right.
Maybe that's part of it. But that's where I resonate. So going into a meeting in your early 30s as a manager or supervisor or whatever, and you have all these executives around you. They're all old. They're all 50s, 60s. Some of them may be late 40s, whatever. They already know that you're going to have an idea that's out of whack or off kilter or completely out of left field that's irrelevant.
Yeah.
Right? They already know that going into the meeting.
Right.
They have already given you a pass on that mentally. It's like a chess game.
Well, that's their expectation.
Kind of. So when you blow them away, it's even more impressive on top of you just being in that meeting and being smart and earn your way there to begin with. Now you conducted yourself appropriately. Not only did you not say anything out of line or come up with any crazy ideas, but now you actually contributed something even better to save the company money. And whether it's casino or corporate or what, it doesn't matter what industry.
It's so far
that
beyond
goes across
that,
the
though.
board.
From my experience, it's far beyond that. It's down to how you're sitting in your chair and what you're doing with your arms. And I'm not even kidding.
Right.
Like
Your
that
body
shit,
language is huge.
That
Language
speaks
is huge.
volumes
Yep.
to somebody in those positions, and a lot of people don't give that enough
A lot
credit.
of people don't even realize it.
They don't even know.
I had to learn that the hard way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're fidgety or if you make yourself too comfortable, you're sitting back. And I had to pay attention to executives and how they sat and how they looked and how they responded and their mannerisms. And
But some
way
people
their
won't even
expressions.
give that the slightest bit of
See,
attention.
maybe that's where I have.
It's what do you have to say before it's, did you come on your off day in jeans and boat shoes with a button up and think that you're fooling somebody? I'm not even kidding, dude. It's down to that kind of shit. Like, and the funny part is a lot of times the executives aren't going to call you out for wearing.
No, they won't.
Even if they're nice jeans and, in today's world, business casual jeans are involved a lot of times.
You might get a hard-ass executive every now and then who's old school who's going to call you out and say, don't come to my meeting in jeans.
But there's some people that'll take that.
Our world has changed. It's not like the 80s anymore.
They'll look at that. They'll note it in their head. And maybe later on in conversation, they might throw that back in your face indirectly and be like, people have showed up in jeans in the past and just want to let you know that's not okay.
And they're not here anymore. Yeah.
And there's only one person sitting at the table that's done that, and it's you. You don't want to be that guy.
Right. So metaphorically, the jeans could be anything when it comes to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever.
So that's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's a whole different subject. But I'm just saying, like, it's so far beyond just the knowledge and know-how of your position when you're in those meetings. Like you
bring up a very valid point about body language and mannerisms. And that's something that I had to learn on my own. I didn't have a mentor. So, my stepdad, he was a dork. I loved him to death. But he was not stylish. He didn't know how to conduct himself. He played the game to what he needed to in the corporate environment.
I'm going to grab a beer. You can keep talking, though. I can hear you.
Okay. To be successful within his own right. But he didn't play the executive game. He was definitely not on board with that. He was not one of those guys who would buy the nice suit And yeah, why not? Buy the nice suit and play the game and go out and play golf with the other guys. He was not that type of guy. So that was what I grew up with. So I didn't have that mentorship, you know. My dad wasn't in the picture. He was a truck driver, you know. He still is. I love my dad to death. I've learned a lot from him.
Yeah.
He wasn't that mentor in the executive world to show me how to act or how to be. Unfortunately, I had to learn a lot. I had a few people in professional positions that I learned from, and I picked their brains. But I had to take that on my own and go, what can I change?
Yeah.
What can I do to make a difference within myself? And this comes down to a core value that we'll talk about in other sessions as well, that whether it be relationships or whatever, especially relationships. This is a whole thing too.
Rabbit hole.
But this goes back to a core idea of, okay, I see something. I see it on TV. I see it on my phone. I see it advertised. I see it in person wherever I work. That person looks successful. They have a persona. Mm-hmm. They give off an idea of the lifestyle that they have. And we all know it's fake to a degree. People want you to see what they want you to see.
Right.
But there is another side to that. The person that has the nice suit ends up getting the promotion. They carry themselves correctly. They walk a certain way. Yeah. And you think, oh, I have respect to that person because he's intelligent or she's intelligent and they have great ideas. And you learn from those people, you pay attention. And you have to make that decision within yourself going, okay, I like what I see there. I don't have that. What is it going to take for me to get there? What is it going to take for me to learn to be that person?
Yeah.
I'm not talking about changing your personality, changing your core and who you are, and your ethics. I'm just talking about, like, you see something that you think in your mind, whatever you think is successful,
right? Whatever
industry it is, and you think, okay, that person's successful. I'm going to learn from that. I want to be that. Just like sports, just like, you know,
right.
This industry of AV, right? In the entertainment media industry, same thing. You learn from people and you look and go, okay, what are they doing that I like? What are they successful at?
How are they successful?
Right.
That's another topic in itself.
But this all comes back to the core value, and especially in the corporate world. If you see somebody in that executive position that you're like, I want to be that, well, then you have to take it on yourself, your own personal mentality, to change what you need to in your life to become that. If you really like that idea, if you think that that idea is something that you would be good at or you want in your future, you have to make choices. It's self-discipline.
100%.
Nobody can teach you that. It's great to have mentors, but until you learn it on your own.
People always say the best way of learning something is failing at it.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to sink before you can swim type thing.
Right. And we could go down the list of how many corporate executives there are that are hugely successful in this country and throughout the world that failed 100 times or 10 times before that. You know, failed businesses, and then they finally got one that ended up being amazing.
I mean this in the most...
Bezos with Amazon, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He had failed businesses before Amazon.
Yes.
So that's an example.
Well,
and I'm not going to dive into details of that, but you can do your own research.
I mean this with the most in the most respectful way possible.
Beer 30.
Love that sound. I mean this in the most respectful way possible. But when you talk about people resetting at a certain age, right?
Yeah. Getting back to that.
I think about the friends that I have in the situations that they're in now and how they've transitioned to those situations.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, because I'm overly hard on myself. And so when it came down to the decision of leaving the comfort, the consistency.
Well, you left benefits. You left
the benefits.
Climbing a ladder.
When it came down to making the decision to do that, I think about my friends and I'm like, I mean, I'm not saying I feel old, but in my reality, I feel like people that are 31, 32 years old, you should have it somewhat figured out by now. Now's not the time to hit the reset button. But when you think about what we were talking about, the corporate ladder.
If only.
Listen, though.
Okay, keep going. I'm not going to stop you right now. Keep going.
When you think about the corporate ladder that we talked about, a lot of those people that are in those executive positions reset multiple times.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm not talking about the information that I'm speaking right now is from me picking people in those positions' brains. Like, how did you get to this position? What did you do? Where did you start?
And you're not just talking professionally. You're talking with their kids, multiple marriages.
Exactly.
Resets in life.
Exactly.
Period. Financial setbacks, bankruptcy, whatever. They had to reset.
Trials and tribulations.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, what have you gone through to get to this point?
And it's not about the experience that you go through. It's how you bounce back and learn from it.
Right.
And everybody hears that.
It sounds like a cliche, but it's true.
But it's true. There's plenty of motivational stuff out there, right? The difference is the self-discipline to actually put it into practice on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That's the hard thing. So for me to sit there and go in my 20s, like, here's these executives, and this is what I'm dealing with. And I like the idea of, everybody likes the idea of having money, but what does it take to get there?
And what does that mean to you?
It means something different. That success means something different to everybody.
Well, no, what I'm getting at is like a position like a VP. That's minimum 6 days a week you're going to work.
Right. And that's not worth it to me.
Right. It's what do you want?
It's the whole picture.
What are you willing to sacrifice?
It's not just about the money or the suit.
Right.
It's not just about sitting in a meting and being able to eloquently.
It's not about the fucking 6-figure paycheck either.
No, it's not. It's not. There's a lot more that goes into it.
It's about how much work-life balance, how much that means to you.
Right.
It's the time with your family. The list can go on.
Yeah, and most people know this. Most people know this. And the difference for me, I think, that I've had to learn the hard way is I was kind of that stubborn.
I wouldn't say most people know, because I think a lot of people look at people in higher positions and like, you're just a lazy fuck getting paid a lot of money.
Or your daddy put you in that position or something, yeah.
But they don't understand
down to you. And a lot of people had to earn it.
Comes with that.
Yeah, a lot of people had to earn it. Absolutely.
The responsibility alone, dude. Those meetings with executives in them. If you go in there, you're going to get pressed by the top dog, and you better have an answer.
Right, and here's the other thing that most people don't realize. If you research like an average executive position in this country, the average lifespan of any executive in that company, in that position, is like 3 years.
I was just going to say about 3 years.
I mean, there's a ton of statistics and reports out there to say more or less. Doesn't matter.
Right.
The point is, it's cutthroat at the end of the day. And you have to be that idea man, and your ideas have to work. And the follow-through has to be there. You can have ideas all day long, but if all your ideas are shit, nobody's going to want you to stay in that position.
Right.
So if your ideas are good,
the fucked up part is that is correct, but on the other side of it, you're right. You could have great ideas for a long period of time, but the higher the position, the more tasteless you become in a shorter period of time. We're used, they kind of can predict what that person is going to do. You
have to become more vanilla.
Right. But
absolutely,
most people in those positions,
so much.
They have a ceiling. Like, it's just the way it is. And they bounce from executive position to executive position to executive position because all these other companies are taking a shot on you because the last guy was a step lower.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the lifespan of those careers in that position,
so this circles
exactly in that position.
This circles exactly back around to what we were talking about originally, with about learning the corporate environment, doing all that.
Yeah.
So not having mentorship, having to learn the hard way. I have my sights set on goals now that have changed over the years, especially in the last couple of years. In the last 5 years, I'm not the same person.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years, definitely not. Right. I'm totally different than when I was 31 now to 41. Completely different person. Not to the core personality. I still have my morals. I
but
still have my values. But
that's
who
progression, though. That's what is supposed to happen, ideally.
Well, but a lot of people don't change.
No.
A lot of people choose not to change. I've chosen to see my future and go, what is it going to take for me to get there? And put systems in place in my life for me to react a certain way and change my method of handling myself, change my body language, change the way I act, the way I dress, the way I conduct myself in meetings.
Right.
All of these things are important. And for me to get to that level, I saw what I needed to change within myself. And that self-awareness, that self-discipline, I think that's, I don't hold a lot of pride in that, but I also think it's commendable to a point. So the whole point of that, circling back around, is it where I see myself going now and playing the game, is to get to a certain point to where I can sustain long term on as little as possible. Downsizing.
Is that your vision?
Yes.
Because that was my question, is like, success is in the eye of the beholder.
Right. Success to me in the old days was something different. I was actually talking to one of...
When you're younger, though, you look at a guy that works at the gas station counter and you're like, I want to be able to do that. And then you get to that age and you're like...
Oh, you're talking like when you're in your teens and you're like, I want a job.
Just the progression of how you view those people in suits. It starts off with a uniform. Well, I want to be the guy at Walmart with the vest on. I know it sounds stupid, but...
Some people do, yeah.
I want to do that. And then they get to that age and they're like, well, I want to be the guy.
Enough.
Yeah. And guy behind you, J. Cole, says it in an interview. He's like, you have to find a point in time or a point in your success, scale, and be like, this is where I want to cap, and I'm okay with that. It's not being content. You
find your own ceiling.
It's not being content. It's just,
contentment is part of it, and I think that's a great thing.
It is, but in a good way. It's like, but back to what we were talking about before, some people are like, I want to be the GM of Four Diamond Casino property. But then the further they get in their career and they start to see how the game's played and how the corporate ladder works out.
Is that really, truly what they want?
Their desire for that next level kind of diminishes. And
so here's the funny thing. I think you brought up contentment. I think a certain amount of contentment is healthy. Too much is bad.
Absolutely.
So here's the thing. People that aren't content will constantly... not strive. Strive is not enough of a word for this. They will constantly chase after something that is an illusion.
It's something that's
not there. Something that
unreachable.
Right. It's completely unreachable.
That's what this guy talks about.
You're creating a goal for yourself on this mountaintop that you will never reach.
No, because once you get there,
that's miserable.
There's another level, and you're like, oh, I can get there.
That's got to be a miserable life.
Well, you're never going to be
happy with yourself.
Ever.
It's never good enough.
Ever.
I think a lot of people in that mentality, that's like Hollywood. There's a lot of people in Hollywood that are that way. Enough success is never enough.
People want to be rich and famous until they're rich and famous.
And then it's not enough still.
No, then it's too much.
Well,
I can't wipe my ass without somebody asking for a photograph.
That's a whole rabbit hole. That's another topic.
Well, I'm just saying, like, people think about it so in such a small scale that it's just like, yeah, it sounds cool to be a millionaire, but I would like to be able to go get a fucking Blizzard from Dairy Queen at 3 a.m. and not have to worry about 5 people wanting an autograph and a picture.
See, and when we're little, we think about success of being a millionaire, being a movie star, whatever. At my age, you know what I'd like to be?
What?
100,000-aire.
That's what I'm saying.
Really, I don't need millions.
That sounds.
I just need a few 100,000 to get me by for a few years that I can live comfortably, buy a boat, go sail the Caribbean. That's my life goal. So I'm putting myself in this position now to play the game in corporate, to work with executives, to not be that executive long term, because I don't want that 6 days.
To set yourself up for what you want to do.
I don't want to be there 6 days a week. I don't want to be married to my job.
Neither do I.
So I will play the game to a point to get to a certain level, And that is my contentment. Exactly what we've been talking about. It's funny that you brought that up because I will be content at a certain point. I need to be wealthy to a point.
You should be, because if you're not, then you're unhappy.
And happiness will come on both scales.
There's some
if
people
you don't
that
have
do.
enough, if you don't have enough money, you're going to be unhappy. You're going to be miserable because you never have enough to provide. You're always going to be stressed out, right? I want to have enough to provide. I want to have enough to be comfortable. I want to have enough to be...
To go on vacation to Mexico or to take the boat to the lake for a week.
Right. Whoever, if that's your goal, absolutely. My goal is to live a vacation. My goal is to sustain enough to where I'm living on that boat in the Caribbean full time for a few years.
That's a different mindset than most people have. Most people are so...
It's radical. It's weird. It's out there.
So, like, addicted to technology, me included. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not, but not on a level that's to the point where if you put me on an island, I'm going to lose my shit in a week. Like, you see memes and shit online all the time about, would you take $1 million if you could stay on this island for a week with no internet?
Could you live in this cabin for 3 months with no phone and no internet? It's like,
bro, I was busting my lips on fucking, what do they call it? Gymnasiums when I was a kid. Like, kids don't even fucking go outside and see.
Okay, but what was it? What was that one we just had with the Midwest with the storms? Like, people always have those memes about could you survive in a cabin?
Yeah.
People can fucking survive for 3 days without power in modern day society over in the Midwest when they had those storms a few weeks ago. How the fuck are they going to survive in a cabin for 3 months?
In the Midwest, bro, there was people.
Not gonna happen.
There was people in Oregon
Dude,
from the snow and ice storm that they got hit with this year that were out of power for like 2 weeks or a week and a half, and people were absolutely losing their mind.
My mother in Kentucky, she was out of power. They didn't have any power. They literally had a power line on their property go down from the main road. They were out of power for 2 weeks.
Call it cliche, but I could do that shit, dude. I'll do it for free. Just fucking get me to the island, dude. Let me live. Just let me get a few chuck eyes with me or something. That's all I'm asking.
They don't have cows out there, Tim.
Yeah.
They don't have cows.
Yeah, and I like fish, but not that much. So let's be real.
They might have goats. Goat meat's good.
Yeah, I'll pass.
I'm down for goat.
I'm just saying, like...
How many goats can I have live on a boat with me? Sailing boat. What do you think?
Nah, fucking
Can I have
none.
a few goats?
Absolutely none. You'd kill it the first day.
I feel like this is dinner.
Yeah, you scratch my new boat that I just bought, even though I'm going to live on this thing for fucking 17 years or whatever.
Fucker's going to climb up the mast.
Yeah, he rips your sail and you're sitting there with your dick in your hand, dude.
Okay, we dove down that rabbit hole. Holy shit.
Let's regroup here.
All right. Getting back to the whole...
But it's the success meter that you give yourself. Like, there's some people that, and I mean this with all respect, there's some people that work at an AM PM that are 65 that have been doing it for 55 years.
That's their level of contentment. See,
and if they're okay, if they can buy their Marlboro Reds and their fucking, Miller Lights by the 18 packs a night,
and their Diet Coke.
And they're okay with living in that studio apartment.
Yeah, I'm not okay with that.
In the hood, gunshots every night. That's fine though. If that's what you feel, if you're a happy person and you are content with your life, then who the fuck's to tell you otherwise?
See, that's the funny thing about it. That's where I see that about people. I see the successful people, the people doing that 6 day a week executive position. I see the people working at a convenience or fast food place that have no ambition in life. And again, I always default to I'm somewhere in the middle. I don't need to be that hugely successful person.
Ambition, though. That's just your
there's plenty of but the beehive is a great example. The beehive is used quite a bit in the corporate world, right? The queen bee is the CEO, and then you have the worker bees, and then you have the the security bees. There's actually more than just a couple types of bees in a beehive. Do your research. Anyway.
Yeah, got it. That's my point. That's my point.
So the point is, if you've got a lot of worker bees, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of people who are just content being a worker bee.
Right.
To me, I'm not content being a worker bee. I'm I don't know, some type of different fucking bug in that scenario. I'm not even a worker bee at all.
Right.
I'm the outside coming in, an outcast, maybe a consultant, whatever.
You're on the production line.
And no, not even that. I'm just somebody who thinks outside the box. Somebody who rocks the boat from the outside.
Oh, I got you.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not in the beehive at all.
Yeah, you're off.
I'm a dragonfly or whatever.
You're
you know
sniffing
what I mean?
cow
Like,
shit.
wow.
That's a fly?
Thanks, Dick. I like how you demoted me from a bee to a fly. What a dick.
Yeah. That was indirectly, but you damn right.
All right. Keep going. You're going to have that one?
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead.
Well, they're laughing. People are laughing right now, I
Get
promise
out of
you.
here. Okay, so the idea that I don't feel like I'm a worker bee, I don't feel like I belong in that hive.
Yeah.
I've learned to play corporate,
Yeah.
but I don't belong in corporate.
Right.
I've learned my methods to cope and work. I'm playing the game right now. I just got a promotion. I'm in that management level. I'm starting to scrape the surface of that. I'm going mentally, personally. I'm putting myself in a position, playing a mental chess game, to climb that ladder.
Right.
Because I know where it's going to get me in a couple of years. I don't want to be there. I don't want that executive director level.
So then where is your ceiling?
Probably that executive director level.
Even that to me.
But here's the thing.
That's 6 days a week, director and above.
Right, for a period of time. My ceiling now at my age that I look at is getting to a management position or director position to only get me the means to get to that next phase in my life. That's it. There's a time limit on it. It's almost like a fuse lit on a bomb. You know what I mean? The fuse will burn for so long, and then it's just going to
Let me ask you
over
something,
again.
though. And I don't mean to put you on the spot. You've been a business owner before.
Correct.
Do you want to go the corporate route, or do you want to go the, not, I shouldn't say entrepreneur, but more of the tradesman route, to where the skill that you have, I mean, you were a locksmith, owned a locksmith company.
Yeah,
Do you ever want to go
specialized
back
in
to that?
electronics and low
To where
voltage.
you tell yourself when you're getting up and when you're going to sleep?
No, I don't want to go back to that.
Why? From a business owner or a former business owner, why don't you want to be your own boss? Because a lot of people in today's world, that's what they want.
You're asking two different questions.
Right. It's
You're
two in
asking,
one.
do I want to be my own boss? Do I want to be an entrepreneur? That's one question, and there is an answer for that. The other question you asked is, why don't I want to have my own company as a locksmith again on that level, right? You're leading down that road.
No, that was more of an example because you've
okay.
done that before. But
So I wouldn't go back there. I'll just touch on this
well,
real
you
quick.
just have the ability, not
Right,
just
I have
with
the skill.
locksmith, but you have the skill, the experience, and the
knowledge.
ability, the knowledge, everything to
I could
kind
earn
of
the
go your
customer
own
base.
route.
Yeah,
and,
I could
and do your own
I could
thing.
do it all over again. I could absolutely step into that and be successful again. Absolutely. I don't want to,
Why?
because I've done it. I conquered that. I did it for almost 10 years successfully. I got bored with it. I got burnt out. So
Bored with it and burnt out are kind of contradicting, though. Because bored with it means like I can do this shit in my sleep.
Well,
It's
no,
no
they're-
challenge
they're-
to me.
they're parallel. Bored and burnt out.
And
yeah.
burnt out means like I'm just fucking tired of doing this shit. I don't
Yeah,
want to
because
do it
I got
anymore.
bored with it. Yeah, they are different things, but they are parallel.
True.
Absolutely. So the challenge for me was going back to corporate, sucking it up, stop being my own boss, my own business owner, which is the American dream for a lot of people.
Yeah,
I want to get out of. I did the opposite.
It's
right?
the same
I'm
concept of wanting to be an executive. People want to be business owners until they're business owners because they realize real fast, even if you have no employees, a business you are married to, there's no sleeping when it comes to that. If anything happens,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be dotting your I's and crossing your T's every second of the day because
Wait, what are we crossing and dotting?
I's and T's. Crossing your I's and dotting your T's is
For
always.
what?
What the fuck are you talking about?
I love that I just threw you off.
I'm just saying. Like,
Okay,
When
here's the
when
thing.
you're a business owner, it's not just clock in, clock out, 8 and skate. It's not.
Oh, no.
No, you are married to that bitch.
I stopped. Okay, when I worked for another company as a tradesman, as a technician, as a specialist, I stopped that position to start my own company. I thought, okay, I'm doing this job. I'm going to go do a different job. Boy, was I wrong.
Why?
I stopped doing that job, working for a company, to start my own, and took on 7 jobs.
Right.
Because now I'm doing the accounting.
You're the accountant.
I'm the PR guy. I'm the marketing.
You're all of the above.
Now I'm the financial guy on the back end, counting the beans. Does it make sense? And then I'm in the actual tradesman doing the work. And then I'm dispatch.
What am I giving and what am I getting?
Oh, my workload multiplied exponentially, and I had no idea. I was 26 when I did this.
Well, yeah, but as you just stated, at 26, you're like, I don't want to fucking do this.
I was a homeowner and a business owner.
Yeah, but you're like, I don't want to fucking do this. Now you're like, if I was in that position again, I would have done it this way, and things would be a little bit different.
No, I'm the opposite. That's where maybe I didn't say it correctly or confused or whatever. I'm backwards compared to most people. Most people work in corporate, they get the job, whatever. They say, this is bullshit, it's mundane, I want to be a business owner. And they work hard to get their own restaurant or their own flower shop,
right,
or their own whatever.
Locksmith company.
Sure. There are a lot of people that do that.
But
in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Absolutely. I did it backwards. I can't tell you why. I don't know. I go against the flow.
No, you were just hungry as a young adult.
I absolutely was. I wanted that lifestyle. That's what I thought was going to be successful for my family and I. And it was to a point for so many years. And then it became something that I saw. There was a ceiling. I had reached that ceiling. I was bouncing my head against the ceiling. And I got tired of that headache. So I decided to take a step back and go back into corporate. Right?
Right.
I left my business to go back to be a worker bee. Which is weird. It's a weird concept for most people.
So there's a couple ways to look at that, though. There's some people would look at you and be like, you're just weak, dude. You can't handle it.
You're an idiot. Whatever.
You're an idiot. You obviously did it, and you were successful enough to drive yourself crazy, because if you didn't have enough work to drive yourself crazy, you wouldn't be in that position.
Here's the difference. I recognized I was not going to get any further in my business with the knowledge and experience and training. And remember, you may not know this. I only went through a couple of years of junior college. I didn't complete college.
Overrated.
So, but I don't have a degree to back me up, right? I didn't do that.
Let me pause you
in
right
the corporate
there, though.
world. I had the school of hard knocks, right? Learning on your own, going through the trades.
When that happened, that made sense. But in today's world, I don't even want to say this because I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but you're almost foolish going and spending all this money to go through a 4-year university.
Things have changed a lot. Just again, in my generation, that all it was about was going to college, go to college, go to college, go to college.
Even when I was growing up, it was that way until like 10, maybe 15 years ago.
And now it's changed a little bit.
And in the past 5 to 10, 7 years ago, let's say, you can literally become a sensation overnight with the accessibility of everyone.
Don't get me started on all that bullshit.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like that.
TikTok is not a long-term thing. Just saying.
It can be if you're smart. If you take on a sponsorship and you start to run with that, with the money that you get, and there's where people fuck up, and it's the same thing with professional athletes. Once you get into money, you're not used to having money like that, especially how young these people are getting this money. There's fucking 16-year-old kids making $100,000 on Twitch, streaming video games.
Which is temporary.
Their parents are sitting there like, fucking clean your room. And they're like, yeah, well, I paid for this house, so.
You know what? We're in a different world.
Exactly. That's my point.
We're in a totally different world than what it was when I grew up.
That was never an option when I was a kid.
I respect that. I completely respect that. The fact that if I was 25 right now and I could make money playing video games, I would do it. 100%.
That platform was not available until 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm fucking pissed about it, by the way. I'm pissed I didn't grow up in this generation, so I
can
can
do
that.
Play video games.
I grew up with a game. I didn't even have a Game Boy. My mom wouldn't even buy me a Game Boy.
Wow, that's fucked up.
Right.
But
my dad bought me a Super Nintendo for 1 year for Christmas. That's what I started on, buddy. Okay, the original Mario Kart.
That's what makes, back to what we were talking about, that's what makes becoming an entrepreneur more reachable, I guess you can say. More realistic for somebody to be like,
oh, it's way more within
I'm going to
reach
quit
now.
my job of 9 years that I climbed that corporate ladder for to pursue something that I'm passionate about.
See, now you touched on something. In the 80s and 90s and even in the early 2000s, breaking away from corporate to become your own business owner, that was a huge move.
You were a maniac if you did that. Nowadays, there's kids that never even worked before that already are established.
Without thinking twice. Yeah.
Like,
entrepreneurship is not the same meaning as what it was 20 years ago.
No.
It's not. Which is kind of sad. It's kind of thrown around. Here's the idea.
I don't want to take any like spice off of that, though, because as we were talking about, starting your own business is a lot more than people give it credit for.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
As much as you don't want to admit it, these people that are rich off TikTok or Instagram, those people go through a lot of bullshit.
Or YouTube. Yeah.
Or YouTube.
Start a YouTube channel.
It's a job, dude. It's a job.
A lot of work.
And
to be relevant.
The difference is you're spending time in the comfort of your own home to be a content creator, when most people are used to spending the time in their comfort of their own home with their family the whole time they're there. So it's a little bit different dynamic. It's a little bit different to people. It's quite a bit different, actually, if you think about it. But because you think like you go to work, you clock in, you clock out, you go home.
Mm-hmm.
When you're an entrepreneur, let's say a TikToker, a YouTuber. I don't like saying TikToker because I feel like an idiot, but the world we live in.
Sounds like
fuck it. But these people are taking time out of their personal lives. Actually, they're more so publishing their personal lives.
They're publishing what they want you to see about their personal life, yeah.
Right. It's filtered, for sure. It's actually very filtered because everything has a filter on it.
I'm touching on something that you just mentioned a minute ago. So when you're an entrepreneur, it's more reachable nowadays. But it's also on the other side of that sword, right? The two-edged sword. It's a lot more cutthroat because it is so reachable. It's so reachable. The market's been flooded with people like this, with podcasts, like online gaming, like YouTube, starting your own YouTube channel. Oh yeah, start your own channel, start filming stuff. You're going to be successful. YouTube will just give you money. Right.
Bro, there's hours and hours and hours that go into producing this shit, and people look at it like it's cake. It's like, no.
So here's the thing. At the end of the day, people want to be entertained. What's entertaining will survive. What's not entertaining will go by the wayside.
Right.
So that's how you stay relevant, is with entertainment, right? You can do YouTube or an online podcast or an online streaming channel. You can do it wrong a lot of ways.
Absolutely.
And it's the people that learn how to create the content that people are entertained by that will sustain, right? So that philosophy is derived from the corporate world, ironically. And that's what a lot of kids don't get now.
Elaborate.
You have to, this circles right back around to what we first started talking about like 2 hours ago, before we even started the podcast. You and I were bullshitting in here. And this goes back to the idea that if you're in a meeting and you're called in and you have some relevant ideas, you're going to stay relevant as long as your ideas work. Right? It's no difference in corporate as it is to the modern entrepreneurship, in quotes, of streaming or podcasting.
An internet personality.
Internet, social media. Look at the Kardashians.
Yeah.
Perfect fucking example. What were they? Socialites. They could have just been socialites in LA. They could have just had money and enjoyed their lives. And nobody would have ever known who they were. There are hundreds or thousands of socialites in LA that nobody ever knows. Or the world doesn't know, but LA around their area, they know them. Right? They didn't become internationally famous. There's plenty of families out there like that.
Hold on. Yeah, they are.
What? No, I'm talking about other families that are not the Kardashians.
Oh, I got you. Ones that stayed away from the camera.
They stayed out of the limelight. Yeah, they're just rich kids living in Hollywood. They're socialites, whatever. So you have certain families, like the Hiltons. They did their own thing for a few years, and they were relevant for a few years, and they went by the wayside. And then you have the Kardashians.
Well, you got to.
Why
like
have
said,
they?
Though, you got to stay relevant.
That is the genius. People think they don't have any talent, right? And I've watched interviews with Kim and what's their mom's name?
Chris.
Chris, thank you. She is fucking genius, by the way. To keep those kids relevant for so many years in so many different genres of industry, I mean, that is phenomenal.
For what they're doing, yeah. They're literally...
They're
not
challenge
singers,
anybody.
They're not actresses,
Right.
They're not comedians. What are you doing? You're literally just sitting there like, oh my God.
I'm literally shaking my head right now. Like, I don't understand
Today
how she
I
made
dropped my Chanel purse
How did
on
she
the
keep 'em relevant?
concrete and like it scuffed it a bit. Even though I can buy like 45
we're done with
million
that.
of those, it just
Okay, so
breaks
Chris,
my
the
heart.
mom, the fact that
You're
she
like,
could
fucking
keep all
focus, dude.
Shut up with that. It's annoying.
Yeah.
So
I'll pull it up.
The fact that the mom could keep all those kids so relevant for so many fucking years in so many different ways and keep changing it.
What do you mean her keeping them relevant?
Dude,
They literally just exist.
The mom is the driving force behind that whole family.
Yeah, it's also her personality, though. It's the show.
She's fucking genius, dude.
that
If you
show-
could bottle her genius, I'm telling you, I'm not a fan. I
Have
will
you
go on
fucked her,
record
dude?
saying I'm
just kidding.
That's wow.
Yeah, yes, actually.
Thanks, Tim. I'm not that much of a man whore. Thank you. I will go on record saying I do not like the Kardashians. I can't stand their fucking show. I hate everything about it. I have seen interviews with Kim and Chloe and Chris and some of the whatever the fuck their names are. I don't even know them. I have a huge respect for what they've done in their industry, right? Clothing, fashion, media, entertainment, whatever.
Hold on. Do you know how that show was started or...
I have no idea. Oh. I don't even, okay, this is a whole rabbit hole by itself.
Well,
by
this
the way.
is, and I'll say this till I die.
A whole nother level of entrepreneurship.
No. Well, it is, but yeah. This is recycled information, what I was getting at, but she is Kim Kardashian because of a sex tape with Ray J.
Oh, yeah, she
R&B
did mention
star.
that. Have you seen David
That's
Letterman's
how anybody
new show?
knows her name, though.
Right. You'd seen
They were rich without this, but that's how people know them, and that just elevated their whole family tree to an ridiculous level because who's old girl getting pounded?
Okay, but same thing happened to how many other celebrities?
They were already celebrities at that point. Is my
okay, New York socialites or LA socialites. Either way, one of them released a sex tape.
well, people were like, "Who
I
the
don't
fuck
even
is
know.
that?" And then it was like, they gave it energy, and it just blossomed like weeds in the yard. That's literally how it happened.
Weeds. That's a good analogy. They're weeds. They won't fucking go away.
They won't. I mean, look at it. You go right now on Instagram.
You know what? That's a perfect analogy because what's a dandelion? Dandelion's a weed.
Yeah.
It gives you a pretty little,
It's just a pretty
fluffy
weed.
thing that blows away in the wind, and then you have a yellow flower, and it's a flower, but it's a weed.
Yeah.
So it might look pretty for a minute, but
It's like-
ultimately it's fucking annoying and it won't.
For
go
a
away.
millennial, it's like, oh, this is a great Instagram picture. But to a fucking 65-year-old that's doing yard work is like, this is a fucking cancer to my yard.
Pretty much.
You know?
The millennial's gonna look at the pretty flowers.
Yeah. You see it on Instagram, you're like, holy shit, dude. They live
They're
in Beverly
weed.
Hills and they're in like fucking,
Ugh.
the backwoods.
Yeah, I commend that family for staying relevant for so many years.
It's also about the audience, though, dude. That's what you got to understand is like people will eat up gimmicks. You look at Tekashi 6ix9ine. You look at these guys that are millionaire rappers, and you listen to their music, and I would literally rather just beat my head against the wall.
Me too.
And I'm a huge fan of hip hop. I'm a huge fan of rap. Any genre of music, there's very few that I don't like. But there are some rappers out there now that it's just like, bro, you huffed way too many Sharpies as a kid.
Lay off the glue sticks, buddy.
Yeah,
Shouldn't have eaten the glue paste.
Yeah. And now you're into the hard shit because you got money. Like, what are you doing?
Okay, so now that you brought up music, that's a whole nother.
I fucking love music, dude.
Me too. So
I really do.
here's I have a philosophy. This is going to dive deep. Are you ready for this?
Oh, go ahead. Shoot your shot. That's
a lot
not the
of
right thing to say, but
yeah, that's terrible, by the way. Anyway, a lot of people. I can't even. I wanted to say a joke about that. I can't say it. Anyway, a lot of people get down on electronic music. Okay, so a lot of people from older generations are like classic rock or whatever. They like the 50s, 60s. They're like, oh, today's music, it's not really music. Blah, 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 blah.
back in my day, we used to beat fucking tires with a hammer and call it music.
I don't know about that, Tim. Settle down.
No,
Settle down.
That's
Tim.
facts.
Facts.
It's called bluegrass.
Yeah, mouth guitar, whatever
Yeah.
the fuck that is, right?
Yeah.
Actually, my aunt played mouth guitar and spoons, by the way, so I do know something about that.
That is a real thing, dude.
It's a real thing.
My fucking aunt was a mouth guitarist.
She played mouth guitar and beat spoons.
Yeah,
and
3
she
times
was-
platinum.
Oh, you should have seen the fucking grin coming out of her mouth while playing the mouth guitar with spoons. Whatever. Anyway,
Jesus,
you
dude.
can't really do both at the same time. Anyway, so
Wow.
the whole
Yeah.
funny thing about that is music has progressed to a point to where a lot of people think this is ridiculous. It's just electronic sounds all over the place. It doesn't make sense. There's no rhyme or reason, right? Here's my whole take on a lot of modern day electronic music, which I will go on record saying I love a lot of EDM. I love a lot of house, trance, electronic, chill.
41
whatever.
loves it.
Yeah, I do. By the way, I was born in the wrong generation, apparently.
Yeah.
Long live Daft Punk. Okay.
5-finger death punch.
Those guys are badass. But that's fucking, that's
I was just
hard
throwing
metal.
out a fucking, what's
All right,
that
get outta here.
festival called?
the Aftershock Festival.
Aftershock, yeah.
Yeah, there's the hardcore rock, Rob Zombie, fucking Metallica. I love all that
You
shit.
like
I was
the
raised
screaming
on
shit?
I was raised on all that shit. Okay, but going back to
Did
electronic
you have a
music,
chain wallet?
No, I never had. The
I don't
fucking-
believe it.
I never had the.
I
Fucking
don't
chain.
believe it.
Nope, didn't. I did not. I had the baggy pants. I had the
Black fingernail polish and some
No, come on, that was
some gauges in my ears.
no.
You
that
should
was-
see
that was
this
I was
guy, dude.
never emo. Get out the fuck out of here. I'm so vanilla with the way I look. Get
Yeah.
out. I'm so basic Roseville dad.
Now he wears Levi's and rides a Gixxer. Unbelievable.
Right, midlife crisis. That's what I'm doing.
I'm finding myself. Identify.
Oh shit. Probably shouldn't have said that.
You're gonna offend somebody.
Yeah. That's why I love podcasts. If you get
midlife,
offended,
midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Riding a fucking street bike, listening to electronic music at 41. What's wrong with me? That's
hanging
what
out
I
with
want.
32-year-olds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely fucking trying to reset my life, aren't
Yeah.
I?
You got to release the reset button, Grant.
Yeah, let go, buddy.
Yeah.
Let go. So, will you stop derailing?
I love it, though.
Getting back to the whole... I actually have a serious, deep philosophy about
All right,
this.
let's hear it.
All right.
My apologies.
So, electronic music, okay? A lot of people get down on it and say, oh, it's not really music, whatever, da-da-da-da-da-da. In my mind, electronic music is now more difficult to make music out of than what it was if you just picked up a guitar. And I know a lot of people are going to hate me for saying this, but please hear me out. Picking up a guitar, you only have certain chords. You only have so many chords that you can play. And believe me, I've been a musician for 20 plus. Actually, I was a musician in my younger days for many, many years. I played
The
more
top
than, more than a
100s?
couple instruments.
The top 100 songs at any given time are usually based off of the same 3 chords.
Yeah, 100%. The top 40, I can't stand top 40. Anyway, whatever.
Those are millionaires.
Other than Dua Lipa, I will say my daughter and I love Dua Lipa. She's pretty fucking amazing.
She makes great salsa. I don't know who that is.
I love it. I could sing all of her songs. Anyway, sad. I know. Midlife crisis. Going back to that. So here's the thing. Playing a guitar, there's so many different chords.
Yeah.
Playing the drums, there's rhythms. You can change those rhythms up.
Tempo, rhythm.
Yeah.
Everything.
Cymbals and your bass and your tenors and your snares. You can change all that. Yeah, there's a lot of progression with technology and how they sound and what you can do and different ways you can change the rhythm, right? Change the beat. That's incredible in its own way. At a certain point, it stops because it's only the drums.
Right.
Right. With a guitar, you can play the guitar in phenomenal ways. I love a lot of famous guitarists. But the guitar stops. Thank you for that.
Pardon me.
The guitar stops at a certain point. You can't do everything with a guitar. That's why you need the drums. That's why you need the bass. That's why you need the piano. That's why you need the vocalist. That's why you need the saxophone. You need those other components.
You need the band.
You need those other components to fill it in. Because one instrument by itself is not enough, right? Unless you're listening to Spanish guitar.
It
Some
just
amazing
depends.
Spanish guitar I could listen to for hours, by the way. So
I don't mean to be
put
that guy
out
that's like, well, yeah, but
okay, so here's the point. I do have a point, believe it or not. Stick with me here.
land the plane. Just kidding.
Right, land your fucking plane.
Just fucking with you.
So, electronic music has all of those components from each instrument that we've ever created in history. So think about Mozart. Think about Beethoven, Tchaikovsky. Think about back in those days, okay, in the 1700s. I don't quote me. I can't even remember when they were born or when they died or whatever, when the music was created.
Yeah.
I had a love for classical music when I was younger. I used to listen to a lot of it.
Yeah.
Beethoven was deaf, right? Correct me if
Yeah.
I'm wrong. He couldn't even hear the music, but
He was feeling the
He
vibration.
created amazing music out of the instruments that they had of the day. Okay, that was incredible. As a composer, to not be able to play or hear anything and to take all of these things and put them together and make something amazing out of it. That idea is phenomenal. I relate that to modern day DJs, believe it or not. And the reason for that is a modern day DJ, not only do they have all of those sounds that have ever been created from different instruments in history, okay, they have all of the strings,
Right.
all of the drums, all of the brass, all of the woodwinds, all of these
Well,
instruments.
now it's like synthesized and like.
Well, okay, but that's a whole nother level. You have all of the hard physical elements of music, all of the actual instruments being played and the sounds they produce. Now we have all this digital era that are sounds that never existed before.
Right.
Literally, you created them on a computer out of nothing.
Right.
There's not a physical instrument to match those sounds.
Do you think that makes it harder to produce?
Yes.
Music?
100%.
How though?
Because
you're
now,
you're just adding tools to somebody's toolbox in making music.
exponentially.
Why does that make it harder? That to me that makes it seem easier
No, because now
you have more
Okay,
variety to choose from.
okay, here's a good analogy. You compare it to somebody that's learning how to drive. Are you going to throw them in a Ferrari with a stick shift when they're learning how to drive?
No.
What are you going to put them in? A basic, simple, small, automatic car or SUV.
Toyota
like,
Paseo or something?
something basic.
4-speed?
Right? A Camry.
90
know what I mean?
horse to the wheels?
Something super simple for all you car guys out there.
Yeah.
Okay, you're
No
not going to throw them in a
moonroof?
fucking Porsche with a 6-speed. It's a Carrera S.
Well, you went
Right?
to
Okay,
different
but-
worlds. I got you, though.
Okay, see what I'm saying?
But how does that translate?
You give somebody who's learning how to drive an amazing high-end car like that, they're not going to know what the fuck to do with it. They're going to end up shooting themselves in the foot, killing them.
How-
You give them too many options. is what it
I'm
comes
not
down
trying to oppose you here by any means.
It's too advanced.
But how does that make sense, though? Because, like we were talking about, somebody that's in an executive position was smart enough to make their way to that.
That relates to music and being a DJ. Absolutely.
Correct, because being somebody that's a DJ is interested in that. They have an interest, so they've done more research than just somebody like me. I'm not big on EDM at all. Like,
I know.
I'll hear it in videos, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool.
I know it breaks my heart too.
It's not something I'm gonna fucking drive down the freeway listening to.
Oh, I did on the way here in my headset on my
what
helmet,
I'm getting at
riding
though is
my
like
sport bike
if you
for my midlife crisis.
This guy, dude, and his next bike is a Vespa. But
get the fuck out. No. I would
what I'm
ride a
getting
Vespa
at-
around Italy when I go to visit.
what I'm getting
Absolutely.
at
That
is
would be amazing.
If you have a general interest or a genuine interest in something, you're gonna know more about it already. A, and B, you're gonna research more than you would if you weren't. Like, I don't go online right now and research like selling abalone shells because I have no interest in doing that. But if I'm an abalone fisherman that's like, or I'm an avid fisherman.
Wow, that's a weird analogy, but okay.
I'm
I'm with you.
I try to make it very unique.
That's pretty abstract. I'm not going to lie.
So I'm not going to, if I'm a dude that's all about fishing, then that might hold
Where
more
can
weight.
I buy an abalone shell?
I couldn't tell you.
Can you eat abalone?
Absolutely. Didn't we talk about this?
Can we catch some?
Oh my God. Somebody kill this guy.
Do they run away from you?
Yeah. Wait, is that in the water?
How fast do they swim?
But like, if you don't have an interest in something, you're not going to invest anything in it.
I'm cracking
Your
myself up over
time,
here.
money, whatnot. Shut the fuck up. But like somebody that's a DJ, if you aren't good at being a DJ, then that's probably not what your interest is in. Like somebody that's a DJ has been listening to, is a fan of music.
Oh,
one.
it's an obsessive level.
Right.
It's an obsession to the nth degree. Yeah, absolutely.
Shouldn't that be the case for any profession? If it's something that you love, being an entrepreneur in today's world, most of the time that was nice distance.
Thank you.
Well, but
you,
being an entrepreneur,
I had to answer back. So
being an entrepreneur in today's world, though, you have to have you could be a funny guy, but if you don't like doing videos, creating content, putting things out, putting in the work, like, you're not going to be successful at that. You could be hilarious, but if you're lazy, then you're a fucking paperweight.
You have to stay relevant, going back to what we were saying before. Absolutely.
But to make my
you have to have
point,
the energy and drive to see what's
to
going
do
to be
anything
relevant
now,
and
to
stay
do
there.
anything.
Yeah.
People work at AM PM because they have to. They don't
we're
do it
diving
because
way
they
down
want
there.
to.
Okay, I'm going to get back to my fucking point about why EDM is successful.
What my argument to that, though, is that you could literally apply that to anything.
Well, okay,
Any
I'm not
music
disagreeing
genre.
with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. Absolutely. You can apply it to any industry, any corporate environment, any business.
Even music, though.
Small
like
business.
if I don't like the screaming in the mic shit, but
Okay, but
if I did, then I might be able to produce it.
Let me ask you this. Do you acknowledge how big the DJ EDM industry has become?
Not entirely, but I get the gist of it.
Like worldwide, do you understand how big it is?
I've seen the videos of hundreds of thousands of people in a fucking festival.
Like if you do the numbers, okay,
Going
and
like
that's right.
And they're
Boots
just
and
fucking-
pants and boots and pants and boots and pants.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Boots and boots and
Right.
socks and pants and whatever.
Get out of here.
Fuck off.
Okay, so the whole point of that,
Grab another beer.
I have not done all of the research to find out exact numbers on this, okay?
Copy.
But the numbers are absolutely astonishing from what I have looked up. Worldwide, it's insane how many concerts are held of just somebody sitting behind an electronic booth in front of a crowd. The numbers are staggering for how many festivals there have been of people just with a computer and turntables. More so, the numbers are bigger than any other rock band in history.
I was about to say that.
So
not just that, but like the concerts that have a DJ. A DJ is the spotlight.
Here's the difference between
Deadmau5.
the two. Right. Deadmau5, Tiesto, you have Hardwell, you have, you know.
Those draw more people than Drake.
Here's the difference. You can't have one DJ do an entire weekend show by themselves. That's one difference, okay? You're not going to have one DJ do 6 hours by themselves.
What are you comparing that to, though?
Well, I'm just saying, like, no,
if I'm a one-man band, I can't do it by myself.
I'm correcting myself. You're right. Like music festivals with bands, like rock concerts. I've been to several. Yeah, they have warm-up bands, and then they have the headliner.
Right.
But the headliner plays for like 2 hours, right? So it's not 6 hours. It's more like 2 hours. Typical DJs don't go for 2 hours. They don't. It's only like an hour long. Okay.
Yeah.
So they can't sustain an entire show as one DJ.
They have openers and shit too,
Right,
just like other
exactly.
bands do.
So they've mimicked that in the music industry. The difference is you have all of these sounds throughout history that have ever been created by man, whether it be physical sounds from physical instruments or whether it be digital sounds that somebody discovered a computer can make this kind of noise, which is crazy. Transformer noise and dubstep and all this bullshit that you hear now. I like some of that, not a lot of it. But some of these sounds.
What do you mean dubstep is EDM?
Dubstep's, oh, dude, you don't. There were like 918 genres created last year.
There's also 918 genders that were created last year.
You're not wrong. Fucking good point there, Tim.
Yeah. Let's get with the times, dude.
See, they go hand in hand. Genres
and genders.
Absolutely.
They're both G's. They're just not gangsters.
Oh, my. I love it.
Whoops.
All right, so the whole point with how many genres there are, whatever the fuck you want to call your music now, they're all electronic. It takes talent, in my opinion. Okay. It takes talent to take all of these fucking sounds that could be in a computer.
Yeah.
And to combine them into something that is listenable. And not just listenable, but something that is going to attract in a crowd, right? It's going to get people hyped up. And in addition to that, it makes them want to hear it over and over and over again. That transic sort of meditative state.
Right.
Escape from reality when you're at one of these music festivals and you hear this music.
You do know what comes with that, though, that is a big inspiration to that feeling.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do drugs to listen to this stuff, though. I'll tell you that right. I know a lot of them, actually, who won't do drugs when they listen to this music.
I know, but
which is crazy to me.
I know, but when you're talking about these fucking concerts...
We're talking about 90s raves and shit. That's where it all started. But now
it's like you went from like...
It's mainstream.
40% of the crowd being fucked up on something to like 90% of the crowd being absolutely cloud nine. Zooted.
Where's your facts on this? I would actually think more of them are not fucked up.
When is the last time? I haven't even been to one of those shows, but I know plenty of people that have, and they've told me everyone in the crowd is
okay. So we're thinking of different.
No,
genres
EDM,
different
dude. EDM, bro.
You can't. Okay,
the
EDM
biggest
is a big
EDM festival in the world is in Las Vegas.
EDC.
EDC. It's EDM music.
It's not the biggest in the world. Actually, Tomorrowland is the biggest, but whatever.
Okay, well, it's
That's
up
in Belgium.
There. And I will promise you right now,
it's huge. Okay, in the U.S.,
you want
majority people fucked up in that festival? Absolutely, I would agree with you. But there's a lot of concerts where people are not that fucked up. They're not rolling on anything. They're not high on anything. Okay, and they're just enjoying the music. What do you account for a lot of today's kids that are driving down the street, going to school or going to the store or Starbucks or going, to work, and they're just listening to EDM because they want to? Are they fucked up on drugs in that moment? No, they're not.
No, it just reminds them of when they were.
Well, maybe some of them, yeah.
Fucking can't wait till EDC, dude.
Okay, you might have a
mowed
point
like
with
60 lawns to get my ticket, but fuck, it was worth it, bro. I'm about to
Get at it.
lit.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm going to correct you on that one. Anybody who's going to EDC as a young kid is not fucking mowing lawns, okay? Nobody's fucking mowing lawns.
You couldn't be more correct.
All right.
They're like, that's like fucking 7 hours of fucking fans only, you know?
But the whole,
only fans,
the whole
whatever
point
the fuck
is
it's
there.
called.
Get out of here. Get out of here with that. The whole point is that ultimately there's a lot of sound that you can create into something that makes it desirable to listen to. And I know a lot of people don't think it's desirable. That's fine. Whatever. A lot of people don't think classic rock
my point
or
was
bluegrass
that it's
is
all
desirable
personal
or-
preference. Like,
right.
it's all personal
A lot of people
preference.
think country's not desirable. Fine. Whatever.
Bro, you'll have Garth
I like
Brooks
all
on
types
one
of
day
genres.
and fucking Tupac the next. Like,
Yeah, see, you and I are the same that way. I can listen to anything. I love it all.
I'll be riding down the street on a spring day here in Sacramento, California, listening to fucking Common Kings.
100%.
Love it.
100%.
I won't be listening to fucking a Dead Rat.
Dead rat.
Mixing the ones and twos. Another thing I was going to say, though, is that those fucking DJs, most of the big ones like that, they mix the shit at home. And when they go to those shows, that shit's all played out.
It is. Okay.
It's on a, I was going to say CD, but that'd be like totally 2005.
Oh my God. Wow.
But
Okay. You know what? This brings up a damn good point. Fucking poor Milli Vanilli. Okay? Think about Milli Vanilli from the fucking 80s.
you're going
and
there,
early
dude?
90s. Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah, I'm going there. Think about Milli Vanilli. What do they have going on? They had the look, they had the dance, the ladies loved them, and then they got exposed for fucking lip syncing. What do so many shows today?
I was going to say, if you're
do-
talking about now,
those guys
Have
would
you
be
seen-
fucking huge. If
have you seen that video
Dude, they
on-
were like 2 decades too early.
have you seen that video on YouTube of Mariah Carey, raw vocals, singing her fucking world-renowned Christmas album?
Yeah, it was a little shaky.
I just gotta keep waiting. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, they did her dirty, dude. There was like 3 videos they got cut off of YouTube. She paid to have them.
Oh yeah,
Taken
because
down.
when you have that kind of money, why not?
Well, I mean, fuck.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Mariah
Okay, Cher
Carey.
couldn't have made her last album without auto-tune. Okay.
I'm not saying Mariah Carey couldn't sing at one point, but I think that ship has sailed.
That whole industry is very cutthroat.
But
When it comes to
when
this.
you talk about auto-tune, it's funny you brought that up. Majority of these mumble rappers are using auto-tune.
Oh, it's stupid.
A. B. A lot of singers are fucking using it.
I love that mumble rappers. That's good.
And on a side note, a lot of people think T-Pain, because he's the one who kind of founded.
I'm on a boat, motherfucker. Take a look at me.
What? Are you talking about Step Brothers?
No. I'm talking about Lonely Island. T-Pain did one of their songs.
Oh, no idea what you're talking
It was
about.
on a boat. Anyway, look it up. It's
But
fucking hilarious.
a lot of people are like, T-Pain fucking, because he's like the founder pretty much, or he's the one who made auto-tune a big thing.
Yeah, in the rap
But
industry.
the dude can actually sing.
Really?
Dude, there's this thing online on YouTube called Tiny Desk, and
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it.
all Tiny Desk concerts, and
Yeah.
all the hitters, dude.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of them,
Rappers,
actually.
musicians, everything.
They're good.
They've all the good ones have done shows on there. And T-Pain
Mm-hmm.
did one on there. No auto-tune, raw vocals. Dude can sing. Been able to sing for a long time,
Yeah.
but
One of my favorites, actually, Hosier. Phenomenal. I love Hosier. Okay, I love that genre. Hosier and
who is
Kaleo.
that? I want to say that name sounds familiar. I'm
You know that
trying
song, Take Me to Church? Take Me to Church.
Go ahead and
like-
sing it. Let me.
I can't sing
Okay.
that shit. No, I'm not. And you're not going to rope me into that. No way.
This fucking thing's recording. I can't delete it.
No, I'm not singing that.
Yeah.
But ultimately, Hosier has some amazing lyrical work. Okay.
Who the fuck is Hosier?
You're gonna
That
have-
name
you're gonna have to
literally
look at-
sounds familiar. I'm
You
pretty
would know
sure.
his music if you heard it. Okay.
Yeah.
So he does a phenomenal job with lyrics, and not only lyrics, but he does a phenomenal job with the vocals and just playing guitar. It's just him by himself.
Hosier? Okay. How do you spell it?
Hold on. I'm looking her up right now.
Her?
I'm looking it up. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
Josier?
Okay, this song right here.
Hold on.
That's Hosier.
Yeah, I have no fucking idea who that is.
You've never heard this song before. How have you never heard this song before?
Should have told me. I could have made this a lot cleaner. Have a Bluetooth option.
Yeah, well, you know what? Next time, okay? It actually doesn't sound that bad. Okay, but most people know this song.
I'm pretty sure
most
this has been sampled by hip-hop artists.
Yeah, most people have heard this song. It's pretty popular. Okay? You've heard this.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. It's not written about what people think it is.
Yes, I have listened to this.
Have you read the lyrics?
Yeah, this is sampled by...
Do you know he's not talking about actually going to church?
He's
talking about a woman.
Go.
No, he's talking about a woman.
I know, that's what I said. Yeah, this has been sampled in today's music.
Right. This is not written about actually going to church. It's about being in love with a woman who's igniting the fire in his soul. I'm telling you, dude, this is good shit. And
where were you going with this one?
Mainstream took it and ran with it and had no idea what it's really about. So lyrically, it was phenomenal. So you brought up the Tiny Desk thing. Anyway, you brought up the whole Tiny Desk thing. He was on there.
Oh, okay.
He does not look anything like what I thought that voice would sound like.
Well, that's true. A lot of artists out there, though.
And a lot of DJs. You're like, that fucker needs to stay behind your desk.
Yeah, holy shit.
He was not a front man.
Just came out.
You're not lying. I'm telling you, dude, it is way harder.
You know what's
create
fucked
music.
up, though? Is I think there's
way harder to create music out of nothing.
So, back to what we were talking about, modern day technology and social media and stuff like that. There's so many people out there that have the talent to be something great. Like a multi-platinum recording artist that's like through the moon.
Does that even matter anymore? Multi-platinum recording? What does that mean anymore? You can have a fucking YouTube podcast that blows that shit out of the water from years ago. It does, though.
Dude, Cardi B
is
talking about a wet-ass pussy.
Oh, don't even go there. Stop it with that.
Oh, sorry. I'm just saying, like, that's multi-platinum.
Multi-platinum doesn't have the same meaning.
She's talking about, you know.
Okay, this is a good point. What did multi-platinum mean when the Stones came out? When the Beatles were popular? When Led Zeppelin was on the radio?
Here's the thing: is that wasn't as attainable, though. Here's what you got to understand:
right, multi-platinum means nothing now.
This thing right here, formerly known as an iPhone, the majority of Americans have one. If not, it's an Android, but they have a streaming device in their hand
type
of music.
Okay,
it's more accessible. Right. I'm breaking it down in layman's terms.
Oh, so I can understand it. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So when you have something like music that's as accessible as it is now, of course it's going to be multi-platinum. I could fucking pay a $9.99 subscription to Apple Music and play anything I want.
What was that dude who
for the most part?
What was that dude who created that song Thrift Shop? Remember at Thrift Shop when that came out? It was popular. People were fucking singing that everywhere. Macklemore.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
What did he do? He didn't go through a recording company. He didn't go through a standard production company like most other artists do. He marketed himself like on Facebook and fucking
Do you know how
YouTube.
Post Malone became Post Malone? Do you know who
I actually don't know. I love his music, actually. I hate to admit that, but I like a lot of his music.
That dude literally was
I don't know his story now.
a guy with a hobby, basically.
He just looks like a kid who got left alone in a room with a Sharpie.
You damn right.
Don't play with the Sharpie. What did he do?
Yeah.
He played with the Sharpie.
Yeah. It's all over his face and it won't go away. But
And his guitar.
that guy literally was an overnight sensation.
I don't know his story.
There's a song called White Iverson.
Okay.
And if you look it up on YouTube,
I'm going to have to do that later.
that was the song that planted the seed for him. And he's the same dude now as he was when he fucking released that song. Now he just has money. But he was one of those guys that's just a fan of all music. There was a fucking video online the other day of him doing a country song. He's, popular for rap, not country, but he's a fan of music. It's one thing I've learned over time. I'm a big fan of music, so I pay attention to the people that I like.
It's about the quality of the music. Yeah.
But these people that people that I like the most, they could be a rapper, they could be a fucking country singer, whatnot. They're fans of the majority of music.
Right.
Minus EDM.
I think a lot of people are, actually. I think a lot of people would listen to multiple genres in that way.
But I feel like in order for you, what I'm getting at is I feel like in order for you to be at that level that he's at now, you kind of have to have an open mind. You can't just go into it being like, I like rap, so I'm going to do rap. I stand corrected. There's the mumble rappers.
I'm not following you. What are you getting at?
I was just telling you the story about how Post Malone became famous.
Wait, start over. Go ahead.
So White Iverson, he was just a normal dude, like I am, sitting in my home studio that I created doing a podcast. He was the same thing. Like, I'm just going to record music in my closet.
I'm just going to sing to myself.
Yeah.
Well, Justin Bieber did that.
Well, he went as far as like, well, maybe if I just record a music video, it might be more enticing for people. I could be completely incorrect with this story.
I'm going to have to look it up, actually. I'm curious.
I'm just saying, I know that was his first.
I think you're full of shit, personally.
No,
but
that was his.
Look it up.
Okay. Well, fuck off. So. But that was his first, like, who is this dude moment? And then it was like, now he's at the Grammys and doing Super Bowls and maybe not.
Okay,
Super
but here's
Bowl.
the thing, though. Talking about this goes back to some of our other topics. Staying relevant. He blew up overnight, right? He wasn't anywhere. You're right. And then all of a sudden, his songs are popular, and people like his songs. But the only reason he stayed in the limelight is because he actually has talent to back it up.
I don't necessarily agree.
What do you mean?
Once you reach a certain point in that success,
No, you'd be a one-hit wonder. You'd fall by the wayside. You'd have one album that does
those
well.
are people that,
and then you're gone.
That's a totally different situation, though, because I was thinking about that when we were talking about earlier. One-hit wonders are people that
They strive to be in that limelight.
Yeah, they don't have a passion for music. They just
want
happen
the fame
to
of
be
it.
talented with music, and enough people told them like,
no,
this is the
they
route
really
to take.
want the fame. They want the celebrity.
That's what I'm getting at, though.
Yeah.
Is they did it for they're those people that bounce from one thing to another, and they just happen to, cross paths with the right people, because no matter what, like I said, how many people are talented in the world now that aren't noticed?
Oh, tons. Yeah, it's way more difficult. The Voice and
the people
America's
that
Got
are one-hit wonders.
Okay, there's so many people. You bring up a good point. There's so many more people on these reality shows now who are far more talented than most of the singers from the 60s. Okay?
Right,
If you
but
listen back to that music, it was great for what it was. I'm not knocking classic rock or bluegrass or soul music or funk or any of that shit, because I love it all.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the vocals and the quality of the vocals, they just got whoever they could get from their high school or from their group that they were hanging out in their early 20s, and somebody who could halfway sing.
Yeah.
Now, you got these phenomenal singers that would have blown the fucking socks off of most of those singers from the 60s.
Food servers at like a
Right.
Dave and Buster's.
And they can't even get, a break at all, because they're barely trying to make it on their fucking 3 jobs at minimum wage.
Right.
Yeah. Living in New York or LA. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. These singers now, the caliber is phenomenal.
But what I'm getting at, though, is that Once you become established, you can literally create garbage and people are going to love it because you are who you are.
Kind of, to a point. Because there are people who literally go out of their way to create garbage, and then society wakes up to it, and they're like,
not necessarily go out of their way
to
to create garbage. They just don't want to go through the grind of creating great music.
You want to go back to rap. What was that song? This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why I'm hot. This is why you're not. Da-da-da-da-da. Who was that guy? I don't even fucking remember his name. What did he create? He created a hit song.
You got me on the spot now. I can't even fucking think of who that is.
But somebody knows.
I
wish we could have people call in. Yeah, you know the song. I wish we could have people call in right now because you know exactly what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
He created that song. He might have created a couple others. What happened to him? It was a hot song for the moment. It was like a one-hit wonder. It went by the wayside because there was no actual talent there. This is the difference with Post Malone.
Let's use our cell phones that have every information.
You mean the technology in front of us? We have the technology, believe it or not.
Fucking whatever, dude.
So Post Malone would go by the wayside if he didn't actually have talent. Same with Justin Bieber. Okay, Bieber started on YouTube. I know his story. He's actually got a phenomenal story. Did he become a douche? Yes, absolutely. But he was an extremely talented young kid. And
Who?
Justin Bieber.
Yeah.
Are you a believer?
Watch your mouth, dude.
You know you are.
I'm not going to lie. That new song he's got out, I'll get my peaches out in Georgia. Yeah, that's it.
I haven't heard that new one.
Oh, dude.
The only one I like is the one with him and DJ Snake. That's the only one I care for.
I don't even fucking know what song
that song came out. Those of you who know music know which one I'm talking about. It came out a couple of years ago. Anyway. So he's got a phenomenal story. Nope. Not going to happen, buddy.
Got him.
So he has a phenomenal story of how he got started as a young kid, right?
Yeah.
And he came out of nothing, right? His family helped him promote. He was on YouTube, whatever. He finally got noticed, ended up having a career. The only reason he stayed relevant is because he actually has talent. Post Malone, same thing. Any of these DJs out there that put something out, whether you're a singer or a DJ, musician in modern day, you might have...
Do you know how Justin Bieber was found?
YouTube. That's what I'm saying. It's a phenomenal story. They might have a hit. You might have something that catches the masses' attention, right?
Yeah.
But they're not going to stay in the limelight and stay relevant unless they have real talent to back it up.
Not necessarily.
I'm telling you. That's the way society is.
It's like, whether or not you have a passionate drive for it. Though.
No, it's like the Roman days, man. The crowd will fucking turn on you at the drop of the hat.
What I'm getting at now is what I was getting at earlier, is that you can make it to the spotlight. Maintaining is on you, and it's how much passion you have for music. If you make it, if you're one of those guys that makes it to a top 100. And your name's all over the radio, your songs pop and whatnot, that's fine. But you can maintain that level of popularity if you continue.
Where are you going with this?
You just have to continue producing. That's the one-hit wonders. People.
I'm going to give you a good example.
Listen to me for 1 second.
All right, go
ahead. People that make it as one-hit wonders, they reach that point where they're like, I'm famous, I'm rich and famous, and then they
do whatever the fuck I want.
Yeah, but then they
try to do it.
But then they just back off.
I could do the bare minimum. The true artist never backs off. They just become reclusive and depressed, and they can't produce anything that's relevant anymore, and then they become old has-beens. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to give you an example of what you're talking about, of artists that came out, played the game, did it right, made their money, and then decided to do their own thing of what they always wanted to do. In this band I'm talking about,
Alien Ant Farm. Just kidding.
Negative Ghost Rider.
Pattern is full.
Alien Ant Farm, I love it.
That was the most random fucking thing I could think of.
Okay, so this band from the
Who
90s,
is it, dude?
Pearl Jam. Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam. Okay. In the 90s.
You're saying they're a one-hit wonder?
No, I'm saying they played the game.
Oh, I was going to say, you're high, dude.
No. We're not talking about just one-hit wonders. We're talking about relevance, okay? They played the game. They did the corporate thing. And
You
back
are
in those
correct, dude.
worlds,
You have to stay
in
relevant.
the early 90s, it was a different world than it is now. They did what they needed to do to produce the albums to get popularity, to make their money. And you know what they did? They said, fuck you to the average fan. And they kept their true fans by doing the music they really wanted to do with their later albums.
That is much more common than you think it is, though.
I don't think it's as common because I think a lot of
You're
artists,
saying people are falling victim to...
No, they did it on purpose. Okay, they wrote the music they wanted to finally.
But they did
I
that
think-
because of the industry standard, and that is that most people that make it to a certain point in their musical careers have a record label come to them and be like, we'll pay you X amount of money for 5 albums, let's say.
Okay.
And people agree to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a rapper, his name's Tech Nine. This dude was offered a bunch of money. I want to say it was
I've heard of
RCA.
him, yeah.
I want to say it was RCA Records that went to him and was like, dude, we'll give you $1 million deal. And he was like, why? He was one of those guys that wised up. He wasn't quick to fucking chase the dollar. He was like, wait a second. Why though? Because what I've produced already, I mean, I can continue to make my own music, promote
make more
myself, and make a shit ton more than $1 million.
Why am I going to sign with you?
Why would I sign
when
with
I could
you?
do it on my own? Absolutely. So here's the point. Most artists create hits. Okay.
I wouldn't say most, but
No, I'm saying, okay, most that we hear on the radio or
That's 'cause
music
they
that
made that
streams
hit.
or whatever. They
Yeah.
they made a hit. You don't hear the ones that didn't make a hit. Okay, there's a lot of indie shit out there. People who love indie music, don't give me a hard time. The whole point is, most of the music you hear that's being promoted, that's pushed, and the radio is irrelevant anymore, in my opinion. It's all about streaming, whether it's Amazon or Spotify or whether it's
Apple Music,
Apple
whatever.
Music. Yeah, I love YouTube music, actually. I signed up for YouTube Premium. I'm one of the rare ones. I know. People can give me shit about that. That's fine. I get no commercials with YouTube, and I get all their music. And they get a shit ton of music. The music catalog is phenomenal with YouTube Music.
well,
Look it up.
pretty much
Check it out.
every song that's on the radio
Yeah,
or
but it's a
not
whole-
on the radio is on YouTube.
And it's owned by Google, so they're really good at what they do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that being said, the whole point of Pearl Jam and what they did, they decided to go rogue on purpose. Most artists, I think, in my opinion, what I've learned in my 41 years around this planet, they try to stay relevant. They try to create new music and be relevant and stay popular. And they fall by the wayside because they're not popular anymore.
Well, that's
And
the thing.
then they go through depression. They made their money.
It's the inevitable, though. Like,
They made
you're
their
only
money.
hot for so long. Conor McGregor can only knock out so many people, choke out so many
So
people.
what did he do? He sold himself out to an Irish whiskey company, and now he's on
No,
TV
he
again.
created an Irish whiskey company.
Okay, well, he probably...
Entrepreneur.
I'm
100%, dude.
I'm
He
going to have
took
to
his-
research that one.
He took his platform. Once you reach a certain point in popularity, this is what I'm saying, is that if you're fucking Drake, you could put out
I
garbage and people are going to
guarantee
eat
you-
it up.
I
He is
guarantee
Conor
you
McGregor.
Conor
Pe-
McGregor doesn't know about the process of what it takes to make whiskey. Or he might know a
He knows
percentage
now.
of the process.
He knows now. He fucking educated himself when he made that company.
Okay,
He just
I will
sold
compare
that
it.
company,
I will
mind
compare
you.
it to somebody that I love, actually, as celebrity, who bought a company and made it his own.
Oh,
Ryan Reynolds,
what do you,
Aviation Gin. Fucking genius. He found a great gin. He bought it. He marketed it.
but that's pretty much what Conor McGregor did.
But that's what I'm saying. So he stayed relevant. Conor McGregor stayed relevant by now being on TV, not fighting anymore.
Conor McGregor is a businessman to the core.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
He went and fought Mayweather for $100 million, win or lose.
It probably knowing he would lose.
He knew he was going to lose.
Probably, yeah. In the back of his mind, he probably knew.
I mean, for a minute, I was like,
Okay, so what is he
okay.
doing? He's staying relevant now by buying into whiskey and selling it and becoming his own front man. That's how many other people have done in history.
Yeah.
It's a great example. We digress.
Yeah,
The point is, Pearl Jam.
correct.
Look up their catalog. They have a lot of popular music from the 90s. They were part of that huge grunge scene with Nirvana. right?
Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins or whatever. They played the game corporate. Then they said, fuck you. We're not going to sign your other contracts. We're going to go do the music we want. It's kind of like what Pink Floyd did. Or it's kind of like what...
Well, then
what
that
Freddie,
era, they probably set the
what Queen
standard
did
for that then.
Queen with Freddie Mercury. It's the same thing. They kind of did David Bowie. They all did their own music of what they wanted to do.
But look at Justin Timberlake.
He's fucking super talented, by the way.
Right, but he was a part of a fucking boy band.
I don't love his music, but he's super talented.
He was part of a boy band. He branched off, was like, why do I need to split the checks when I can make
to be
it
in a
myself?
movie with Mila Kunis? Come on. That's exactly why he did
some
it.
people
I'd
just
fucking do that.
Well,
Hell
no,
yeah.
But some people just good enough and hungry enough to branch off and do other things. Ronda Rousey got the shit beat out of her twice by Holly Holm, and she
you don't
decided,
see her with her own whiskey, do you?
No, but she's in the WWE partner.
Oh, I didn't even know what happened to her.
Dude,
anyway.
that's what she did. And she started doing movies right towards the tail end of her UFC
Where are we
career.
going with it? We are way down the rabbit hole at this
Sorry.
point.
People love this, dude. I hope. Love you guys. But
It's too funny.
my point is, like, you can apply your idea about something to a lot of different things.
Now you're getting really vague.
No, you just got to... You're talking about
We started
EDM
with
music.
EDM and how it's
you're like,
really difficult to create.
Well, here's
EDM
why
out of
it's...
nothing.
Here's why it's
because
awesome.
You're
And I'm
given
like,
a smorgasbord of, for lack of a better term, of every fucking musical sound that has ever been created in history, and you say, "Here, create something out of this."
you started with a comparison, but what I think you're doing is just a breakdown of why you like EDM, and that's totally okay.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I'm
It's
secure
when it
with
comes down
It's
to it,
fine.
no matter what you like. If you like peanut butter on your pancakes, like I do, then or your
No,
French
that's
toast,
weird. That's
no,
weird.
it's just what you like,
No,
bro.
it's weird.
And it's okay. That's the problem with people is they think that you have to think like me. No. Guess what?
Think about it.
My taste in
17th
music might be
century-
different than yours. My taste in
17th century
French toast
composer.
and pancakes might be different than yours.
Get out of here
okay?
with your pancakes.
That's fucking bomb, dude. If you
17th
guys have
century
not tried it,
composer.
go try peanut butter in your pancakes with some Mrs. Buttersworth, or what's the other one?
Log cabin is what I go to.
Log Cabin. What's the other one, though? Aunt Jemima's syrup.
No. We're not allowed to have Aunt Jemima anymore. Okay.
Why?
Because it's too controversial.
Oh, God.
That went by the wayside.
Softer than Charmin.
Hey, it's you millennials who started that.
It is, dude. And that's why I don't fucking associate myself. I don't identify as a millennial.
I don't identify. Right.
I really don't, dude. Fuck, man.
I'm
That
proud
is
to be
bullshit.
Generation X. Thank you.
I'm proud to be a fucking intelligent human being. I like to think so, anyways.
I'm telling you, EDM is way more to be a DJ and successful and make the money you do and actually get recognition and clout and get a following and get a fan base that
But to
makes
get to
millions
that
and
point-
millions of dollars. It, dude, is way harder than people think it is.
If you equate that level of success, let's say,
put you
to
in front of a
any
computer
profession,
with every sound that's ever been created in human history and say, create music out of this.
I could do it.
Sure. Let me see it happen. It's way harder than you think it is.
I know it is. I was being an idiot, dude.
Uh-huh.
Give me my moment.
You want
I'm
a
just
moment?
saying-
Go ahead.
What
All right,
I-
here's your moment. Ready,
Okay,
go.
shut the fuck up. My point is that if you're passionate about whatever genre of music it is, and you go hard enough, you're going to be successful.
If you dedicate yourself to it wholeheartedly.
Right. My cousin told me when I was talking about this podcast.
You may not
thing,
always be successful.
my cousin told me when I started this
Depends on your
podcast
level
thing.
of
He
success.
said, you know what? A little kid's dream of making it to the NFL is pretty tough to tackle. No pun intended.
Pun intended, I think.
Yeah, pun intended. But he said, if failure's in your mind, you got the wrong mindset.
I agreed.
You know, if you're going after something, failure can't be a
Failure
thought
is
in your
not an
head.
option.
It's not an option. You have to fucking succeed no matter what. You got to put in the work.
So that's an interesting premise. Failure essentially is not matching your ideal success.
Right.
Failure for you is different than failure for me. Your
And
level
failure
for
to
anybody.
the neighbor is different than mine and yours.
So your level of success that you think in your mind is different than mine. So I might think that you're successful. In your mind, you think that you're failing.
Perception.
Right. So whatever
what it
level
is.
you hold yourself to for success. And if you reach that, then you will think you have not failed.
Yeah, but back to what we were talking about earlier is how some people have ceilings and some people don't. You know, being content with the situation you're in is huge. Or not being content with the situation is
Elaborate.
huge. Well, like I said, you could dumb it down to the AM PM guy, or you could
Oh, we're doing that again?
put it on a level where you're like J. Cole, to where it's like J. Cole talks about this in an interview, but he says, like, as a young kid that's rapping, like, my dream is to be that dude that's got all those chains and he's living that lifestyle. And then he's like, throughout my career, I've realized, but this comes with maturing as an adult and living life's experiences.
Earlier, yeah.
And he's like, I reached a certain level in my career where I had the chains, I had the money, I had the persona, I had all this, and it wasn't enough for me.
Right.
That's where he's like, I ditched the chains.
That's where
and I started getting back to my core, and I'm like, I need to figure out, like, what am I doing this for? Am I doing it because I'm passionate about it, or am I doing it because I want to put on this facade for everybody so they like me? He's got a song called Crooked Smile. He talks about having, teeth that aren't perfectly straight. And he kind of compares it to living in the spotlight and living a celebrity lifestyle and people giving him shit because his teeth aren't, he doesn't have porcelain veneers that are pearly white.
Because he doesn't have perfect teeth, yeah.
Basically, he's like, fuck you. Crooked Smile, I'm going to,
I can identify.
I got here with this crooked smile, so I'm going to fucking live it through.
Absolutely. 100%.
It doesn't change me as a person, and if it does, you're the wrong fucking fan. It applies to everything, though. You got to be realistic with your goals, and you got to be content with reaching those goals and not get to a point where nothing is going to please you because you'll never be happy, like we said.
I agree with that. Contentment. There's a certain amount of it that's good for us.
Right.
Yep. Not too much.
It's healthy. It's healthy to be content.
Not
like
too
you
much.
were saying earlier, it's healthy to be content because if you just keep chasing that next level, you're never going to
be happy.
Content. You're never going to be happy. You're never going to.
See, that's why I actually decided to downsize a couple of years ago. Go from, huge acreage property, all the toys, everything I could want, huge shop, down to a little 2-bedroom condo.
Don't downplay that. That's a nice place, dude.
Oh, it's a beautiful place.
This guy acts like he lives in a fucking shit box.
It's beautiful. So, whoa, settle down. 2-bedroom condo is a lot smaller than, a huge fucking
2-acre property.
2,500 square foot house with 5 acres and a 3-car shop.
Jesus, I
Yeah,
underestimated that.
It was a lot of shit.
Just a touch.
Let me tell you, it was a lot of shit. Downsizing, purging has been tremendous. And that goes right back into contentment. It's like, what do I need to make me happy? Do I need all this big shit? Do I need all the big house and the...
I made a conscious decision when I moved in here, when I left my apartment last time.
Okay. But you moved into a bigger place than your apartment.
Right. And I still got rid of shit a lot more than I would have if I moved into another 1-bedroom apartment. I started looking at things that I was moving, and I'm like, I've literally moved this thing 3 or 4 times, and I've never pulled it out the box. Right. Why do I still have it?
Yeah. So
it's not my high school yearbook. It's not. I'm talking about like fucking
memorabilia is different.
Tchotchkes.
Tchotchkes are
where it's like, why do I have this, dude? Right. And more
trinkets.
People than not
get rid of them.
More people than not have those things, and they just keep fucking moving from property to property and not getting rid of.
That's anything. An old school mentality. I don't get it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Downsizing. Less is more.
Yeah.
The new luxury is minimalism.
Right.
I agree. I'm on board with that.
At least
that's why I'm going to sell everything and buy a boat. And I'm not talking like a little fishing boat. When I say buy a boat, I mean
Catamaran.
45-foot catamaran in
Yeah.
the Caribbean
Yeah,
that I
exactly.
can sail and live on. Something $200,000 to $300,000.
Yeah, but how do you sustain for more than X amount of time?
I would love it. I don't need to do it the rest of my life. I could do it for a couple of years and be happy and maybe sell the boat and come back to land and do whatever at that point.
Get back to reality?
Dude, but that is reality.
That's not, though.
Oh, dude. You have not seen the videos that I've seen.
I mean,
if you haven't
listen to me.
seen decent, I'll send a couple links, but if you haven't seen decent videos of how these people are living off the grid and actually enjoying our world,
But these
that
people
we've been
have
put on,
like hunter-gatherer.
Did you choose to live in this world? Did you choose to be brought around this planet in whatever way, whatever spirituality you believe, whatever?
Grant, I fucking planted my own seed and grew my own self. No, I didn't plan to be here. I'm just here.
Did you record it? Because that would be gold.
We are right now. And it is gold.
So the whole point is to go literally from island to island in these tropical places and to experience the world that we're in.
Yeah.
And the cultures and the everything that comes with that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying for the rest of my life, not permanently, but for a couple of years, it would be phenomenal. That's what I'm working towards. Stripping down, purging, minimalism,
But
get rid of everything to the point where I can live on a boat.
Realistically,
few
though,
years.
what's next? Because you have to think about the next step. You can't just quit the journey there and be like, all right, Thunder Valley's hiring, I think. They need a locksmith. I'm going to head back. Like, at some point, you got to be like,
Yeah,
all
when I'm
right,
50?
so what's
No,
the
not
next
gonna
step?
happen.
Yeah,
No.
because you're not making money when you're out there in the fucking body of water.
This goes back to the whole YouTube thing. You can make money.
Well, yeah,
if you're
but that's-
relevant.
You
If
didn't
you're
mention that.
If you're providing content, which I don't know if I would do that or not, but you could absolutely provide content and make money while you're out there.
I believe you're 100% correct.
I'll show you a couple
You know what you need,
YouTube
though?
channels that are
An internet connection.
This is what's beautiful about modern day and age. There are more internet spots out in tropics than most people even are aware of. Okay, so a majority of the small islands out there actually have some connection to the internet and phones and are connected to the rest of the world. It's crazy how that's jumped up in the last 5 years. Okay, all these little tropical islands in the middle of nowhere, you would think are not connected to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
They actually are. You can get Wi-Fi in a lot of these little bars and restaurants in the middle of nowhere. And I'm not saying that from travel videos. I'm saying that from watching YouTube to where you have people
Travel videos.
actually, well, they're not travel, right? Dick. They're not actual travel videos. They're just people documenting.
I haven't
their
watched
lives.
it from travel videos. I've watched it from YouTube where people travel. Weird.
Totally different. Totally different.
Completely night and day difference.
Anyway, so that's the goal, man. That's the goal. Downsizing to be able to live in that type of environment. It's going to be amazing. And you know what? You can thank me when I do it because then you'll come stay with me for a couple weeks or a month and
On
be
the
like,
water?
this is the fucking life.
Oh, dude, I'm not saying it's not a good idea.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm being realistic because I'm a realist, dude.
Me too.
And I love the idea. It's amazing.
I'm an optimistic realist.
Okay.
I will absolutely.
Well, I'm more of the middle of the road. I can't say I'm pessimistic because it is a realistic thing, but
I wouldn't believe it
especially
if I had
given the YouTube option. But
I've seen so many channels where people are actually making it a reality. They're uplifting from suburbia, pulling their roots, saying "fuck it," even with kids, even with young kids, even having kids while they're out
yeah,
there
but
sailing.
that is probably those people, those little
crazy.
kids that grow up and they live
What's
3
wrong with
years
that?
on a catamaran.
It's a different way of life. What's
traveling.
wrong with that?
Those kids are probably going to have way more appreciation for everything in this world.
Oh, dude, think about the reality of learning the ocean firsthand.
Yeah.
Not learning it in a book. You're literally swimming with the sea turtles and the dolphins, and
And you're not on
you
vacation.
have to avoid the sharks, and you have to avoid the eels. And
You're not on vacation,
the
though. That's your
lionfish.
life. That's
Yeah.
your everyday
Yeah.
life.
But
How are you going to eat, though? Are you going to eat fish every day?
hell yeah.
Okay.
All right, what were you saying?
Catamaran, though, that is the lifestyle. I will not say that is not a great thing to do. I'm just saying, like, if you're not talking about doing it for the rest of your life, then what are you going to do after that?
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Extended vacation comes to a close.
This is where I'm working on my career now, okay, to develop skills and resume to advance myself to a point. And once I hit that ceiling, once I hit that cap, I know I'll hit it. And then I'm going to go sail for a few years. And then after that, when I come back into the real corporate world or whatever, if I ever decide to do that, I'll rely on my previous experience. Or, who knows, maybe I'll end up in the Virgin Islands somewhere or Martinique and open a little bar on the beach and just live out the rest of my life there.
You never know where it's going to take you.
But you know what? I'm open to that because that is the dream.
Yeah.
Most people,
what do you want to do after that?
They do corporate, and then their dream is to own a business. I did the opposite. I worked for a couple of companies, learned my trade, had my business, and then I left my business to go to corporate to learn what I need to do to make the money to get me to this new dream. And that's it. That's where I'm at.
You said a trigger word for me there, and it's money.
Right. Drives everything.
But exactly. That's what I'm getting at. We could go down the rabbit hole of that, but no matter what you do for a profession,
mm-hmm.
whether you're an entrepreneur chasing your dream to obtain that goal of yours, no matter what it is, it all comes down to money. My buddy just said it in his stream just
at the end of the day,
a little bit ago.
I agree.
He's like, ain't nothing for free.
True. Everything's got a price tag on it.
Well, he's saying that because people stream on Twitch all the time. A lot of these people that are watching the stream aren't saying anything. And to somebody that does that, for monetary gain, if you're just sitting there talking to yourself, at some point you reach a wall. And this is speaking from experience, is that it's hard. If you're just going to be sitting there talking to yourself, then there's no fun in that. You want interaction from people. That's what drives a streamer to stream. So,
wait, I'm not following. Hold on. So you're saying if you're just talking to yourself and you're recording yourself,
I'm taking the long route there,
you're
but
going to get lost. And then ultimately,
it's
nobody
not
listens,
that.
nobody
it's not
cares.
Just that. It's people that are just like, oh, you're just in it. People won't say anything. Then you'll be like, why aren't you talking? They're like, what, because I'm not subscribed to your channel, then I'm not worthy of being here, basically is how they see it. And it's like, no, dude, I do this because I love it, but I also do it because I make money doing it. Basically what I'm saying is everything comes down to money. No matter what it is that you do, everything comes down to money.
Right.
Sailing around the world in a catamaran,
you have to have a certain amount of money to do that.
Right, and you have to sustain.
And here's what I've learned with the research I've done and the channels I've watched. The majority of people doing that are not trust fund babies. They're not people who won the lottery.
They built the empire that they wanted.
No, there's no empire there at all.
Not empire.
They own a couple of houses and they get paid rent. It only takes like $1,500, $2,000 a month to live on the water out there. If you get the boat piece taken care of, you only need like $2,000 a month to survive.
Yeah.
And live comfortably. So that being said, it doesn't take a lot of money to make that happen.
No, but
you just have to have something that's sustainable.
Money's also relative to your lifestyle.
Right. So you buy property and then you have that property pay you back over time or whatever it is, whatever your goal is, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to, if you win the lottery, great. That's not something to rely on. That's not a plan of action. Not a business plan that's going to get you there.
Well, no, it just depends. It depends on your perspective. It depends on your perception on it. What I mean by that is that if you're content with winning the lottery and living off of that, then fine. There's some people that'll take that $3 million and fucking turn it into $20 million because
100%.
Yeah.
If I had $100,000, it would absolutely change my life.
And that's pennies to a lot of people.
Because it is pennies in modern day world. It is. What does $100,000 get you? Not much.
If you pay me $100,000 and I look at that $100,000, all it is $100,000. But to the right person,
well, I could buy a BMW and have like 20 grand left over.
no, that it multiplies. You have the potential of multiplying your money. It just depends on how stupid you are.
Correct. So that's the point, though. $100,000 for me would be life changing because then you pay off the current debt you have, and then you take.
That leaves me a few pennies. All right.
Which I don't have a lot of, but whatever. Because I've worked hard on doing that. So you take the rest and you invest into whatever you decide you're going to invest in, right?
Yeah.
I've done enough research on my own to know that I could literally multiply that money, just like you're saying.
Yeah.
So $100,000 would take you pretty far if you play your cards right.
Most people don't think about it like that.
No, most people don't.
They're like, oh, $100,000, how can I spend it?
They're like, oh, what can I buy?
Yeah, what can I buy?
Let me
Burns
put
a hole in their pocket.
$100,000 as a down payment on a piece of property. No, you divide that up in three.
No.
$30,000 on 3 different properties.
Time
and what
out.
are you going to do?
Time out. If you put $100,000 on a property, that's equity. You're going to get equity. That's a fact, no matter
off
what.
of one property. But how much time is that going to take to get a significant return from that property? What I'm saying is you take that and divide it in 3, put $30,000 on 3 different properties. Now you're making 3 times more money from those 3 properties as investments.
I totally understand what you're saying, but
so you're not going to get as much return from one single property, but you'll get more in the long run.
no, I agree. You're going to have to spend more out of pocket, though.
For a time. Yeah.
Until you reach a certain point where you've built equity in those properties.
I'm not saying that's the only way to spend $100,000 and how I would do it necessarily.
But the majority of people will see $100,000 and do exactly what you just said. Go buy a BMW that they can't afford to maintain.
Right.
Balling on a budget.
Dumb. Just dumb.
Just let me get this money out the account as fast as possible. Rather than like, how can I multiply this?
Yeah. Let me take a
Lump
vacation
sum.
for $10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take my $100,000 and go buy a boat.
That's a badass boat. I'd be down to fucking visit you on the water, you know?
Are you kidding? $100,000 will not even come close to the type of boat I want.
They have motorcycle parking?
On the boat?
Yeah, on the boat. Well, not
Put it this way.
$100,000 ain't getting you fuck all for a boat. $100,000 to get you a ski boat that's used.
These days, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
The boat I want is like $300,000 to $400,000.
That's it?
That's the boat I want. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
the price of a condo, man. It's the price of a small house. It's a house on the water. Absolutely.
Right. What after?
So what? You sell the boat when you're done.
What after isn't even a sentence.
You charter it out. You go back to land and you... Okay, so the experience that I have personally, I could go find work anywhere. Anywhere.
Yeah.
Right? From the trades that I've learned, from working at the resort that I work at, I could go to anywhere in the world and find a job. So I'm not worried about that piece. That'll take care of itself.
That's
afterwards.
beautiful.
Right.
I feel like the experience I have doing what I've done, can't say anywhere.
You could.
I could take it anywhere in the world.
You could. Is there a hotel anywhere in the world?
Yes.
Then you can go anywhere.
Yeah. I think about it differently. I feel like I could do more than just hotels with my experience that I've had.
Oh, true. Yeah, absolutely. Management experience? Absolutely.
Union environment, aggressive union environment. I could take it anywhere.
Yeah, but if you're talking like going overseas or something like that, you're not going to be worried about that portion.
No.
You're just worried
No,
about...
but I'm battle tested is what I mean.
No, but you're worried about logistics of property is what you're worried about. Logistics of personnel and property.
Right.
If you know that, then you can go anywhere.
Yeah. Especially have a good understanding. It's not just like you've worked in that. It's having a good understanding
And being able
of
to adapt, yeah.
playing the game, as
Absolutely.
we said earlier.
Absolutely.
So,
all right, buddy. I got to call it a night.
you got to get out of here.
I do.
This is fucking awesome, dude, though.
Had a great time.
Is it not?
Had a great time.
Dude, we got to do this more. You're a perfect fucking guest for this. You might need to be a co-host, so I'm going to need you to get you on the payroll here soon.
Get on the payroll, right. Good stuff. I've had a good time. Thank you.
Thank you for being here, dude.
TimFluential over here.
TimFluential. I like the plug right at the end.
I actually really liked when I first saw that. I was like, that's kind of perfect, actually.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of corny at first, but it's grown on me.
No, it's pretty badass, actually. I
Appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
Let's do this again soon.
We'll do.
Until next time, folks. Deuces.